All right, today we are working on a restore from another computer in OpenText Server Backup or Carbonite Server Backup or Evault, depending on what version you're using here. And this is a Windows agent trying to restore some data from our DC1 server. And we get this message saying could not download job information from the vault. So we need to go take a look at the vault for why we're getting this error message. I've opened up the Vault in Director Console, and I'm going to click the Job Monitor button, sorting by started at. And we can see here we've got this inactive completed on a server job, which is a pretty good indication of somewhere that we should start looking. So let's open that up here. And I kind of separated out this failure here to be able to see it a little easier. We have one failure for this process, and it's telling us that the VPC doesn't exist across all locations. So if this vault had multiple storage locations, it is scanning each one of those to try to find this VPC file. Now, this is the configuration file for how this job operates. Now, if this really doesn't exist anywhere on this vault, we need to figure out a workaround to recreate this VPC. Generally speaking, how this happens is that some point in the vault's history, the task was migrated from another vault to a newer piece of hardware or something, and the VPC did not make it to the new vault. That is something with an older version of the Director software, and we don't really encounter that in the latest versions. This is version 8.72. In order to replicate the scenario, though, I have just manually removed this VPC file from my storage location. Speaking of which, we need to actually verify that the VPC file doesn't exist, and maybe we just had a drive go offline or something, and we just want to check to make sure that the vault is reporting some correct information to us. I'm going to close this log file here, and even though we are restoring the data to the MS SQL Server, we're doing a restore from another computer. We need to look at the DC1 server. So I'm going to right click on the DC1. I need a storage location report. This is going to tell me where all of the configuration and pool data is for all tasks under DC1. In my job monitor here, I'm going to hit the refresh button, scroll up to the top when sorted by started at, and I have this report. So we're going to take a look at this one. And we can see that for that BMR regular job, it is stored on the V drive. So I'm going to copy this path and then open that in Explorer. Now that we've got this path open, we actually need to go up by one directory to where all the configuration and VPC files are. As you can see here, I should have a bmr-regular.vpc, but it does not exist here. And if I go to this PC, it's my only storage location for this vault. Real quick, to verify that side of it also though, I'm going to jump into the Director console here under Storage Management, Storage Groups and Locations, expanding out SGO1, and I can see that yes, this vault only has the V drive. If I had other storage locations configured, I may want to kind of poke around in some of those other ones and see if for some reason the VPC is or is not in any of those other locations. Now, this is where we get a little bit into the weeds of things. We need to basically fake the job. We need to get the vault to be able to provide to the agent a configuration file just to get us started. Now, in my case, under the YT portal server, I do have this BMR test job, and being that it's a different name is okay. Now, if you can't find a job that you can use that exists already, go into Portal, create a job as similar as possible. Don't worry about the inclusions for that job. You can just create uh, essentially an empty shell of a job, but we need the configuration set up for it. So I'm going to right click on this one and just copy it, bring it over to my DC1 server, paste it in here, and rename it to the correct name. We're going to open this up in Notepad, and there's a couple values down here at the bottom that we need to update. So we're going to be jumping back and forth here. I'm going to open up my Director console. I'm going to go to my DC1, go to the properties of it, and at the very bottom, we have this unique identifier line. So I got to copy that. And then back over to the VPC, we have the computer ID here. I'm going to paste it there. Same thing for the task ID. We need to right click on the BMR regular here, go to properties, and the unique identifier, copy that. And then the task ID here in the VPC file, we're going to paste it here. Now the vault ID should be the same. To verify that, you can right click on your vault, go to Properties and Get Status, and you'll see the unique identifier here. Now that we've got everything matched up, we're just going to close this and save it. Now back over to our portal on the right, we're going to do the Select Job Task dropdown, Restore from another computer. We're going to select our vault and that server. And then after clicking the OK button, we've now gotten past the error message, but let's make sure that everything's working correctly by putting in the password. And as you can see here by clicking the calendar button, it's showing us all of the safe sets as it's supposed to for that particular task. And I'm going to actually go ahead and drill down to a file that we can do a restore. That way we can fully verify that everything came down as it was supposed to. So I've just selected a file from my downloads folder here, and I'm going to restore it to the original file path. I know it's a little bit weird reading original location. It's not going to go to the DC1 server or attempt to send it there. The original location just means the original file path. And I'm going to hit Run Restore. Now it shows restore is completed. So I'm going to jump over to my MS SQL server, and we can see that I have a file that was selected for restore, and we are good to go. So that is the in-depth workaround for being able to recreate that VVC file. It is a little bit outside the box and does require having access to the vault to be able to get some of that information and edit that VVC file. But it is an option when a restore is needed and for some reason that VVC file just doesn't exist anymore. If you have any questions about this process, go ahead and leave a comment down below and we'll catch you in another video. See ya.